This uncommon is the best card in Outlaws of Thunder Junction for Legacy, and I'm going to try to prove it to you today. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and Outlaws of Thunder Junction is now on Magic Online, which means that I will be taking donation deck lists utilizing these new cards. For the first one here, MC gave me a dealer's choice donation deck list, and I want to use this to talk about how good Lavaspur Boots is, and how much this card is going to change Legacy. It does not look like a lot at the surface. 1 mana artifact, equip cost 1, equipped creature gets +1/+0, haste, and ward 1. I think rather than explain why this card is good, I'm just going to show you. So let's just play a little game of Legacy, shall we? On turn 1, I am going to play an Urza's Saga. And maybe I will play one other artifact. Let's just assume that we play one artifact the entire game. We'll ignore everything else that is in our hand. On turn 2, I'm going to go and make my Urza Saga Construct token. On turn 3, I will go ahead and make another Urza Saga Construct token and fetch out a copy of Lavaspur Boots. So, normally, in this position, you would just go and attack for 4 points of damage. And that's kind of it. What happens instead, if you have Lavaspur Boots, is that you are now attacking for 9 points of damage. So by having Lavaspur Boots in your deck, you go from attacking with 1 construct token for 4 damage to 2 construct tokens for 9 damage, which, given things like Fetch Land and Force of Will that exist in the format, that probably means that Urza Saga plus Ancient Tomb is a thing that just kills in 2 combat steps. And I want that to really sink in here. 2 lands casting maybe minimal other impactful spells turn 2 land drops into a goldfish in 2 combat steps. That is insane. And every artifact that you play beyond just those goes and further increases the absurdity of this. So, attacking for 7 this turn cycle. Now that is sweet. Attacking for 15 this turn cycle. That is crazy, right? This is what Lavaspur Boots does, and the implications are huge. When you're playing against some sort of control deck, a lot of times the play pattern is like, all right, I'm going to Swords to Plowshares a construct token, and then I have a whole nother turn cycle before I'm getting attacked. But if you Swords to Plowshares one of these tokens, the other one is still getting in, and there's more immediate damage, and the Lavaspur Boots Ward 1 is a relevant amount of protection in Legacy, because against Swords to Plowshares style cards, that's literally doubling the mana cost of the card. Just saying it increases the mana cost by 1 doesn't sound that great. Saying it doubles the mana cost of the card, that's what this is really doing. This card is incredibly strong. So we are going to try out Lavaspur Boots today in what is essentially the 8-cast deck. And by that, we traditionally have meant it plays 4 Thoughtcasts and 4 Thought Monitors, although due to the presence of Orcish Bowmasters, they're often not maxed out on the full 8 anymore, and we often are kind of trending in the direction of Patchwork Automaton aggro. I took a solid tested list from the 8cast Discord server, and I made a couple of changes. The initial deck list had 2 copies of Chalice of the Void, which is a reasonable Magic card to be playing. For the sake of playing Lavaspur Boots in testing, I'm going to play 2 of them today. That is 100% the wrong number to play. You should only play 1 of these, in my opinion. But a lot of times when I am testing a card, I want to draw too many copies. I want to play too many copies of it to see what it feels like when I draw that card. So I am going to be playing 2 of these. They're not legendary or anything. They can still contribute to artifact count for things like Mox Opal and Urza Saga, even when I am not equipping them. We're going to be slightly worse against combo. So I think I did something like move a Pithing Needle to the sideboard, take out 2 Chalices to get 2 Lavaspur Boots in, and I added one other aggressive creature that could benefit from Lavaspur Boots. Sir Ginger is kind of like a Patchwork Automaton. It's a little more vulnerable to things like Orcish Bowmasters to start with, but hopefully it scales up relatively quickly. So yeah, let's see how this feels in action. I am very sold that this card is insane, and in addition to just making your big constructs attack faster, you also have things that have activated abilities. So in a deck like this or Painter, it can give your creatures with tap activate abilities haste, which is kind of a big deal. For 1 mana, your Emry now has haste and rebuys you, a Patchwork Automaton out of the graveyard. If you have more mana, then that gets haste, and Bob's your uncle from there. Should you find that you need some cards, please consider checking out toamagic.com. That's talesofadventuremagic.com. I am going to be ordering some EDH cards. I've got a list of things that I want from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I bet you do too. Promo code ThrabenU saves you 5% on your order. Just saying. All right, let's battle. All right, we are very immediately going to see Urza Saga being good and working towards Lavaspur Boots in all likelihood. We're going to vomit all our 0-cost artifacts into play. Cast an Emry. See what Emry has for us. No goodies. We'll go ahead and Urza Saga. That produces a mana for Shadow Spear. I think I can go ahead and bobble. Wait. I can wait till my opponent's turn, but I'm probably going to bobble. Playing this seat just gives me my next draw, and unless we run into something weird like Dark Ritual into Bowmaster immediately, it doesn't super matter that I wait to crack the bobble. Sometimes I would consider holding the bobble. Lorien Revealed. Control vibes it is. Anyway, sometimes I would consider holding the bobble because every artifact in play represents more damage from the Urza Saga. Nice. So let's bobble, cast it. I have a gajillion D artifacts. I maybe just cast this here and give up the Lotus Petal to make an Urza Saga construct token. Maybe I tap the Mox Opal to do this in case I draw another Mox Opal. It's fine. Yeah, so this is actually sort of interesting. I guess I can't play the Lavaspur Boots and equip one short of that. I will go ahead and play the boots and give up a Lotus Petal to not make my Urza Saga construct token at sorcery speed. Seems good. Sure. The black does potentially represent Bowmaster. I think I'm fine with that. Tundra. Man, I hope we don't play against pest control. That would be really fucking bad. Cannot emphasize enough how bad that would be. So make dude 6/6. Yeah. Make dude 7/7. More boots. Urza Saga. Equip boots to this construct here. Oh, we're getting in there. Start a Lotus Petal. Okay. It is turn 3. With what's currently in play, this is 17, 18, 19. That is lethal in a single combat step from Urza's Saga. You get why I'm so fucking hyped about this card right now? Alright, so we are playing against a control deck of some kind. I maybe don't need Force of Wills for this matchup. I can just bury my opponent in cards. I don't know the exact flavor of what they're doing. We saw Esper colors. It's reasonable to assume that my opponent might be on beans. I could bring this in. I can do Crucible for Wasteland. Crucible for Urza Saga in respect of things like Wasteland. I can Pithing Needle for Wasteland with secondary functions against things like Teferi. I can just Fluster versus spells. This is kind of where my head's at. I don't really know if Aether's Spellbomb is insane or anything, but it's a nice out to things like Murktide Regent before I really know what my opponent is doing. I maybe don't need to lifelink versus this opponent. I I lose some utility in tutoring up Trample by doing this. Turn 1, Sir Ginger. Turn 2, not Kappa Cannoneer. I think I can do better than this. This hand is not that. We'll go to 5. We'll go to 4. This is a keepable 2-card hand, and we get extra cards beyond that, so fucking sweet. Emry's going. I think I'm going to get rid of Ancient Tomb. Oh, I have to get rid of one more, too. We're on 4. I'm not sure if it's Crucible or one of the 0-cost artifacts. Like, the Crucible is, in theory, good as this game drags on, but I'm really not set up for a game that drags on, given this hand. Seat is fine, but unexciting. I think I am going to Saga and play out both of my artifacts. It's worse against some random Meltdown past control style cards, but is better against something random like Lavinia that punishes me for not playing my spells. Sure, no immediate beans or anything. Thoughtcast. We're gonna try to get away with playing Seat. Sometimes it's a little awkward. Sure. Ooh. We are combo-ier than I expected. Oh no, we are just Lotus Petal control. Sure. This is going to be exactly the sort of scenario that I was talking about, though, where I get punished for playing out Mox Opal. Oh, that's not quite how I thought that was going to go down. You got it. Yeah, I thought my opponent was just going to bounce my Mox Opal to deny me the second Urza Saga construct token. Cast costs 1. Hull Breacher and Emry. Hull Breacher's really sweet right now. I think I'm gonna do that rather than Urza's Saga right now. Sure. So that just draws them a card. I can't flash in because of this. And then I'll just go ahead and pass turn. Hull Breacher is also probably something that will not be on my opponent's radar to play around. Like, it's definitely a weird thing. Another one is annoying, but I get to at least do this in response. So now if my opponent wants their draw, they have to bounce my Hull Breacher, and then this Teferi just ends up dying. Yep. So let's go ahead and attack and kill Teferi. Send it. Fantastic. Let's get new Urza Saga ticking up. I think I am fine playing an Emry. Lots of baubles in there. I think this is good enough for a turn cycle. We'll hold up Hull Breacher. I don't really want to play it out immediately because of things like Supreme Verdict. Well, I mean, like, I am going to cast the Hull Breacher in response. You know. You may brainstorm, that's fine. So the One Ring serves as fog here. Which is very good. Don't get me wrong. Ooh, Patchwork Automaton. I probably don't play that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thought Monitor costs 2 mana, which is easy to do. So let's just grind that value. Yeah. Alright, so we have very good board wipe insurance here. And I think I'll just go ahead and pass the turn. I haven't mathed it out, but I assume that my opponent is dead on my next attack step because of the boots. I maybe don't even need the boots. Upkeep cycle. Getting another Underground Sea. Teferi resolves. Takes Hull Breacher out of play. There's still a gajillion power. So I don't know what we're going for. I also just like get Swiftfoot Boots and get to attack with 2 construct tokens. Like, I just assume that I can deal 20 damage to my opponent in 1 combat step because that is a reasonable thing to expect in Legacy now. It's going to take some sort of Solitude type interaction, I think, to keep my opponent alive. Ooh, okay, sure. Oh, we are doomsdaying. My opponent went into the tank for a couple of minutes and did not find a line. That killed me. Lavaspur Boots, folks. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists, and they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. Go check them out. Also, hold up, didn't I just win a mulligan to 4? That was that game, right? Crazy. I'm gonna be mulliganing this hand. This is just it doesn't have a plan. At least not one that I think is good enough to keep. Ancient Tomb, Surginger, Urza's Bauble, Crack, 4/2 creature plus a scry for this draw. I'm not excited about it. I'm gonna call that fine. We'll see what my opponent's doing. Whether or not I immediately crack Bauble or hold up Metallic Rebuke is kind of dependent on what's going on over here. Probably fair stuff. Soul Guide Lantern. I mean, that'll have text. We're gonna Surginger. We'll Bauble and then Opal, and then Metalcraft is on. So the weird thing here is that, like, I very much have Orcish Bowmasters to consider, which makes me want to crack this right now. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this and crack Bauble in respect of that. Patchwork. Given what's in my hand, I think that's a below average power level card. Alright, another Ignoble Hierarch does not give me a lot of information here. So we're hoping for decent redraws. This is fine if I untap with the Surginger, and it's very bad if I don't. Sure. This feels like some sort of Cradle Control deck list, by the way. That's the general vibe that I have. Sure. Endurance to bin. So that's all fine. Let's see what we can do here. So we're going to try to take advantage of Surginger's Scry here. I do not want a Mox Opal. That goes on the bottom. There's another Endurance coming. I am going to draw a card. My decision to do this like this is awkward if I draw Urza Saga. I am fine doing that. Surginger over here absolutely popping the fuck off. So do this one more time. A Thought Cast. I'll control 3 artifacts. I'm about to redraw a bunch of cards. Thoughtcast is, I think, medium? Alright. There's yet another Ignoble Hierarch over there. So we have a 7/5 Surginger. It can be chump blocked. It only gains trample if my opponent gains a Planeswalker, and if they gain a Planeswalker, it's like a Grist that can take me out. So, like, that's a thing. We dodged Bowmasters, which is cool. Alright, sure. That resolves. And then we kind of hope that my opponent plays something else that I can just Metallic Rebuke. I would love to use this 3 mana. Alright. I will take 3 damage. That's fine. Cool, cool. Alright. Opponent's passing the turn. They do have an Endurance. They do have an Elvish Reclaimer that they can activate for a Gaia's Cradle. We've got stuff going on. So we'll go Yaw. Yaw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can Kappa Cannoneer, and it's pretty respectable. Metallic Rebuke also kind of matters, though, so... Alright, we are just getting the jump, which I'm fine with. I just have double Metallic Rebuke backing up my creature right now. I have to respect the possibility of Dark Depths combo. Maybe I don't get to not do this. We will Kappa. The thing about holding up the Metallic Rebukes is that if my opponent just gets Cradle, they have a land that taps for 3 to 4 mana. So it's not even clear that Metallic Rebuke stops their thing unless I do both Metallic Rebukes. Sure. Okay, cool. Let's see what big thing they have. Ooh. I know that they have an Endurance. You 1 mana yet? You are 1 mana. So we're good with this. A little annoying if there's a Bowmaster. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are off to the races now. I like those a little less. I maybe could have thought about scrying here. Alright. Send them. We've got a chump and 6 damage. Okay, we're going to rotate away the Dryad Arbor. That's perfectly reasonable. Or another Dryad Arbor. Down to 5. See what you're drawing. I don't need another Kappa Cannoneer. Alright, they are drawing a blank. I can Force of Will this. So my opponent is drawing a Hierarch that doesn't matter. And then they have one unknown card in hand. They could pay for a Metallic Rebuke. I think I just Force of Will this, keep an extra chump blocker out of play. Like, this is just a normal, pure tempo play. And at the end of my opponent's turn, I can sack my Lotus Petal to do a scry for Sir Ginger. If I don't draw a 0-cost artifact, that will just 100% get Kappa Cannoneer in. I think this is the hardest I've ever seen Sir Ginger pop off. Resolves. So this is going to attack me for 3. I'm perfectly fine taking that damage. And the, it's a forest. Unfortunately, that is just not gonna do it. So, yeah. And that gets us there with the unblockable. Okay, so we are playing against like green-black Reclaimer Elves. Removal spells are perfectly reasonable. Pithing Needle has a decent amount of text. Grafdiggers has a decent amount of text. So against this deck, sometimes the Trample of Shadowspear is going to outweigh the haste of Lavaspur Boots. It'll just kind of depend. My counterspells are kind of medium. Some of my things like Thought Monitor are potentially going to run into Bowmasters. Bowmasters is really good in that deck because it produces 2 bodies for Cradle. So this gives me some early removal. This shuts off Green Sun and Fiend Artisan. I maybe don't need 2 different copies of Lavaspur Boots here because, like, I have a bunch of other Urza Saga targets that are all valid for different reasons. I think I like this. Could be wrong on, like, Force of Will versus Metallic Rebuke. I want to cut some number of counterspells. Force of Will is just more flexible with turn 1, like Patchwork or Sir Ginger. This is an Urza Saga start. So this is Urza Saga, dismember your first creature, Ancient Tomb, go from there. This is fine. This is essentially a very strong 6-card hand where Force of Will might get turned on within a couple of turns. But I just kind of assume that I am going to dismember a Reclaimer or a Mana Dork or something just as a tempo play to help my Urza Saga do Urza Saga things uninterrupted. Yes. Yeah, Soul Guide Lanterns, kind of whatever. And I'm just going to do this as a tempo play. This is not the premium creature to remove in the matchup, but I think it's fine just removing that here. Just treating it as a speed bump, not letting my opponent ever Green Sun for 2 or Grist on their turn 2. Like, if I can slow them down, I maybe get to Force of Will, a relevant card that I otherwise might not be able to Force of Will. Yeah, that was going to be one of the scariest things with this hand. We didn't draw the blue card for Force of Will, unfortunately. So, Patchwork off the top? No. So now what? I think we're making some slightly questionable plays. Take out a Verdant Catacombs. Sack this immediately to draw a card. Oh. Alright, we're super punished for holding the baubles to wait and see if I draw something like a Patchwork Automaton that kind of shifts the way that I'm going to play out the hand. Hopefully my opponent does not Bowmaster me immediately. We see Once Upon a Time and a Snuff Out. Alright, which bauble did I use first? I used Mishra's bauble first, so they're shuffling away Once Upon a Time. Dryad Arbor. Draw 2. No Bowmasters. Nice. Fucking 4th Ancient Tomb. Okay, deck. Okay. Also no blue card in a gajillion draws. There's the Green Sun for 2 that I specifically talked about stopping. Yeah, that's why we want to stop Green Sun for 2. I think with a hand that's this dead, I am comfortable valuing my time. Moving on to the next game. When I'm on the play, the Metallic Rebukes get a little bit better. I think I'm not gonna do it. I don't have a lot of reps on this specific matchup to speak with confidence about, like, number of counter spells I want. I guess my blue count is a little low for the Force of Wills. Tapping a lot of my artifacts, though, for the Metallic Rebukes. This is hopefully an acceptable hand. If Emry finds an artifact, we're fine. If I find, like, an artifact and then draw a blue card, like, we're okay. I can pivot into Urza Saga. But I'm going to lose pretty hard to some of the things that can be on offer from my opponent's deck. Fantastic. We've got some stuff to do. Aether Spellbomb is perhaps not my, like, absolute premium Emry target here. But it's fine. Like, that can be card draw in a pinch. That's happening, and now my hand's pretty bad. Yeah. I can dismember that as a tempo play of my own, but I kind of need something else to back this up here. Alright. I think in a post-board game, I don't dismember that after just drawing more mana. Like, I think I save this to dismember a Collector Oof that my opponent green suns for or something. Yeah, I'll dismember that. That's fine. Anything else? Yes, that's also fine. So end of turn, 2 life, 1 black mana, take out Fiend Artisan. I can hardcast a Force of Will. That's not what my deck wants to be doing at this stage. My opponent's Snuff Out and Pick Your Poison in these last 2 games have just kind of surgically stopped my plan. I could have mulliganed harder than I did. So much for that Force of Will. Yeah. No, that just lined up super well against what I was doing here. Yeah, I am just probably going to die to a single Allosaurus Shepherd activation here. Not like I had the primo hand here or anything, but my stuff lined up super poorly against my opponent. So I cast this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can put a Kappa into play. I don't think that matters. Unless I just have the most insane Thoughtcast string ever known to mankind. Yeah, so this is 6 mana, activate. What, hit me for 12? No, hit me for 10. Oh, fuck. They just top deck Natural Order. So I get hoofed and die instead. You know, honestly, fair. GG's. Alright, we don't have enough mana for this one to be keepable. 1 more mana and Patchwork just goes ham on this hand. I have no persistent mana on this hand. And I don't think we're going to try to go all in on the Emry with no mana. So I'm on 5. On 5, I'm probably going to try to keep a slower Urza Saga hand and make it work out. Put a pair of booties back in the deck. Mapson's also on 5. He's got good range as a player, so he could be on a lot of things. So we're doing this turn 1. I think I'm going to play booties. This is in no way surprising to me. Sylvan Library. So we are in the lands general ballpark here. I'm always playing Urza Saga this turn. I think we are going to put the Emry into play and hope that I mill 0-cost artifacts. I do. Fantastic. Mox Opal is particularly good here. So on my turn, I play Seat, activate Saga, Mox Opal, equip my Construct token, and I just get to bash in fucking immediately. This is so hot. I am in love with Lavaspur Boots. Don't tell my girlfriend. No. So rude. That was such a good play. Alright. My Emry does a lot less for the moment. He says I exist to cause pain and suffering. I had a lot of great matches against this opponent over the years at like various SCG events. A lot of times on like, oh, don't even get to tutor? Don't even get to tutor. If I got to tutor, I got something for Emry. Ugh. Anyway, a lot of times on like loam style decks and painter style decks, a lot of like non-blue good stuff. Ugh. Don't you dare! Don't you dare exploration me. Fuck. Oh. Oh no. Aether Spellbomb. It's, I guess, nice. Emry's not doing the best Emry things here. We're gonna ward up my construct token. Make it a little harder to deal with. I can equip it with Shadow Spear to get trample if that ends up being necessary. Life from the Loam Wasteland is hitting stage there means that Elvish Reclaimer can find depths and also just get double wastelanded off both mana sources. And if Tabernacle is in my opponent's main deck, then that's just disgusting. We are seeing Tundra over there, which is interesting. What is the Tundra for? Oh no. Well, the ward is relevant for Lavaspur Boots. That's something that's missable. Okay. This is going to get wastelanded. Am I interested in bouncing this out of play? I think so. That just keeps me from immediately getting Dark's Depthed. But this is like 1 damage per turn cycle as of right now. I'm unlikely to equip Shadow Spear in a meaningful way. Okay. The blue is Uro. That makes sense. The white is potentially sideboard cards. There could be main deck Swords to Plowshares, I guess. That's not crazy. And we're Loman. I need a 0-cost artifact. I also would accept basic island. I think we are now in garbage time where my opponent has won and it just takes them a while to physically win the game. I think I'm going to play it out to gain a little bit more information about their exact build. I'm not following the lands style decks super closely right now. Okay, that's Dark Depths and Thespian Stage though. That will kill me very quickly unless I draw mana to recur Spellbomb. Yep. They probably don't get to make it this turn though. Like they're going to replay Reclaimer and then get a land out there. Sure. Mox Opal's not bad. So with that, I can recur this Spellbomb. And we're still in here. I think what I'm doing is just going to be beatable by my opponent. Dredging to Boseiju though. Alright, looks like we have actual draws off library this time, rather than dredges from Life from the Loam. Tundra into not Uro. Not another green. Okay, he's realized that. That's the 2020 machine. Bobble is the sort of thing that I need to start spinning this game. So we can do this and then Emry to bring it back. And then we have to hold up Spellbomb. I am fine just doing this. Edge Maze, sure, makes sense. So Reclaimer could find Boseiju. They could wasteland their own Boseiju and then get it back via Life from the Loam. That is not the line that they took, and I am very happy about that. Fantastic. I've got another land temporarily. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is fine. Sajiri is gone. That's good to know about, although that doesn't protect from colorless stuff. All right, let's see what's happening here. Hate it. I have to hold this up for Dark Depths or I die to it, which means that I have to sacrifice both of my creatures. Yuck. This is really hard to get out of now. So I can Emry and target a Bobble at least before I sacrifice Emry. So cast Bobble. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want this to be 6. This gets me a ward something in play. And I'm going to kind of swing for the fences here. Sure. Am I gonna get Legolas's quick reflexes? Or are you just going to just say fuck it and replay it? Alright, cool. So, I don't have active Emry anymore to recur this, is the problem because of the Tabernacle. The life's bad. In an ideal world, I will deal 10 damage to my opponent with Kappa Cannoneer next turn. That's pretty damn hard to do, but it is not impossible. I think it's going to be 2 turns. Yeah, if I lose this land, I think it is impossible. I can do it over 2 turns. If I can get Shadow Spear equipped, I can gain life to survive a hit. That requires like an Ancient Tomb. There was more play to this game than I expected. Alright, I'm down seat. I can still pay for Kappa, but it seems like Uro's back now. Now, with another land drop, my opponent can also just make a 20/20 this turn? Yeah, okay. Hey, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't really know what I'm doing at this point. I don't think I have any outs. So, like, I can unblockable, go to 6 power, equip for 7 power, die to 20 in the air. Dark Depths produces mana due to this. We came up a little short. I like Pithing Needle on Wasteland. I like Crucible to recur my stuff. I don't generally like the counter spells here. I will potentially play Force of Negation, since that exiles Life from the Loam specifically. I can Fairy. I can also just play a couple more blue cards for Force of Negation. I don't know if I need to Fairy if I have access to Soul Guide Lantern. I think I am going to Fairy. I can see a lot of times games that I lose kind of go like this one. Alright. Otawara, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal, 2 mana, Surge Injure, scale up multiple times immediately, also play Emry. This is, I guess, fine. So, yeah. 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 What you got going on? No? Maybe? Let's put that on top. Oh, right, Emry. I guess this hunt. I don't know. I think I should have done that differently. It'd be sad if I get Bojuka bogged. I have a juicy graveyard. I am probably never casting this Kappa Cannoneer. My Mox Opal isn't live anymore. This Wasteland is quite good. Sure. Given that you just played a colorless land, I'm gonna take the valid tempo play here. We are Delver now. Damn it, Mapson. Ugh. Oh, that was a very good turn from them. Force of Negation, not what I am looking for here. If I get Lotus Petal back, I can get a blue card, or I can turn on Mox Opal and then hardcast a Force of Negation. But I don't know that this game is about the Force of Negation anymore. Feels kind of like this game is just about killing my opponent. Oh, I'm gonna draw this. That's a blue card for Force. Sure. I think given that I get an extra card per turn cycle, I'm okay with that. All right, 14. I draw Kappa Cannoneer to potentially pitch to Force of Negation, which we will hyper aggressively use on things given the opportunity to. We are very close to dead to just tutor up Dark Depths. All right, so let's do this. I guess my opponent could bog me. Just slow down the pace of the game a little bit. And they will. And swords? So I'm punished for not playing out Lotus Petal first because I can't Force of Negation. Rough. I can't even sack him. Alright. What a brutal turn. So I can play Lotus Petal. This is not easily castable, so I'll just wait a turn. I think this becomes Dark Depths end of turn. Yikes. I feel like at this point I am again effectively dead and it just takes a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't just immediately get to Kappa Cannoneer. So this will be Dark Depths. Oh, no, we're not going that fast. Oh, I see. They don't have another land drop beyond that. Okay, no, then Flagstones makes a ton of sense. So I can play Lavaspur Boots here for Mox Opal Metalcraft purposes. The next turn I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from graveyard 6. I should have equipped Emry with the floating mana there. That's my bad. So Savannah and Dark Depths are the gets. I am at 24. This is inconvenient for me. This is 21. If I tap Ancient Tomb, I just die to the Dark Depths. Oof, good games. Definitely having some trouble with initial mana sources here. I wonder if the deck needs one more land or something. Like, I could just start this as an Emry draw with Force of Will backup. No. Yikes. No, this is exactly what I was just talking about. We'll go to 5. 1, 2. Turn 1, Urza Saga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gets me activating immediately. If I throw back the bauble, I can keep 1 extra Urza Saga. That way, if I get wastelanded, it's just not immediately game over. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Alright, my opponent was AFK for like 5 minutes. I don't know what's going on their end. We'll play our spells. Alright, I'm glad I kept the second Urza Saga. Bauble's fine. I think I'm just going to leave it in play rather than immediately redraw with the Lavaspur Boots in play. If I were to, say, top deck an Ancient Tomb, I can Ancient Tomb and immediately attack with the token. Basic Swamp is fine. Cool. So we are going to get to start doing Urza Saga things. And that's just going to be land drop pass, make a thing at my opponent's end step, make another one on my turn. Hopefully attack with both. Alright, it is at least black-red. I can only make one dude. The menace attack is free, unless you want to block with your 1/1. Alright, they figured it out. End of turn dude. Sure. I want to make a dude. If I get Lotus Petal, I can just attack with both right now. Or I can slow things down a little bit and just get something like Soul Guide Lantern to play around the worst case scenario of like end of turn Entomb into giant creature that beats me. I think that's what I am going to do. Just take that out. Attempts to attack for 7. It feels like Bowmasters, but my opponent is playing so slowly that I don't really have the best read on what they're doing. I'm not cracking this bauble, by the way. It is better in play for the time being. Yep. This is all fine. Yeah, feels like a black-red scam deck. Everything I am seeing is further cementing that. Alright. So, destroy target creature or planeswalker, destroy target non-land, non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value. Where else? Okay, got it. Yeah, that's fine. Obviously good. My opponent descended because of this. Good synergy. Yeah, I can take 1. Not that big of a deal. I'd like to draw another mana source. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. It's just much better for me if I do. Like, I'll just equip the boots here, bash in for 7, and continue on with my life. Next turn, I'll play Emry, I think. I just wanted to get the ward going. Okay, sure. I can take 3 damage. This is totally fine. Not drawing the lands that I need. Next turn, I can Mox Opal, Patchwork, Scale Patchwork immediately. So we're not going to play out this bauble here. Annoying. Taking 3 points of damage every time something like this happens. This is fine. Scale this up immediately. I maybe consider blowing some of these and giving my opponent an orc token. It's just like awkward if they have another Bowmaster. I'm willing to do 1. Got Palantir over there. This is a slow but powerful card. Ottawa is not great. I'm fine taking the 1. Plague Engineer occurs. That makes my turn worse. I can't block the Bowmaster. Well, I could block Bowmasters and then rip through both of these baubles. That might just be my plan. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. That does mean that my opponent descends Douthie and Gix. What's the exact text on that? Got it. Okay. We drew no gas. Given that, I probably have to just sacrifice this and draw a card. That's infuriating. 3, 4, 5, 6 immediate damage. Yeah, no, we just fully bottomed out there. Frustrating. I don't really think I'm going to sideboard much. I'll play a couple of dismembers for opposing creatures. That'll probably be about it. Didn't see the Grief Reanimate side of the equation. It's almost certainly there. That probably means that 2 for 1ing myself with this is not the best. Countering Molten Collapses is kind of cool, though. I get a Hydroblast for those. My opponent is really a base a base black deck, though, so IDK. Crucible is maybe playable. Just recur Urza Saga. Feels slow. Good Fluster. Dodge it, like, misses a lot of stuff. Just, like, not the most excited about my sideboard prospects for this, but this hand does nothing. This hand is fine. Turn 1, Urza Saga, Lotus Petal, Bauble, Emry off Bauble. So this is the thing that I need. Maybe I need to throw back Bauble, right? Emry costs 2 if I have Lotus Petal, so this, Emry, keep this to back it up. That's fine. So let's Emry after we Lotus Petal. And let's see what Emry finds us. Plenty of various forms of card advantage. Dark Ritual can resolve. That's annoying. Sheoldred's Edict, sure. Gotta reanimate too? No. Well then, hopefully Urza Saga just eats you alive. Sure. Oh, that's fine. Make a dude. Did not hit a land. I don't know how much of a problem that really is, though. They just get a Mox Opal here. So, I think I re-Emry. I need to do this now in case my opponent randomly has like a Snuff Out or something. I guess this does put more things in exile for the purposes of Douthie Voidwalker's ability. Don't know that I have much to say about that, though. Sure. Well, that's obviously annoying. Let's just bobble. I think I want to attempt card draw early on before my opponent randomly finds a Bowmaster. Never mind, it's their last card. They just have the perfects. Well, I mean, at least they're bad. If they wait on this, they just cast it in upkeep, ping Emry, card draw happens, my Emry is dead. And I am in a much worse position. Like, I don't know that dealing the damage immediately. Oh, okay, nothing I do matters. Sure, GG's. Okay, so this is Ancient Tomb, Patchwork Automaton, cast Mox Opal, scale up once on turn 1. Turn 2, cast Boots, Metalcraft is on, start doing other things. I think this is fine. It's slightly awkward. I feel like our hands have been a little below average this league. Like, we have not replicated the sort of hands that we saw in game 1 very often. And I would expect to replicate those hands much more frequently than we have today. Great. Cool. Oh, that's very frustrating. Because anything gets me off the ground here. Yes. Even that. So I have Metalcraft now, so I should probably take pre-combat actions. I think this is playing Emry rather than playing Boots. Force of Will pitching Lorien revealed. Okay. We are just going to attack I need to keep the Mishra's Bauble in play for a turn cycle or two until I develop my mana a little bit more. It's still possible that I just solo my opponent with a Patchwork Automaton. It looks like we're playing against maybe a Sultai Beans deck. Yes. So now we are just fully the beatdown. All right. Stifle is, I guess, good to know about. If I had a little more mana, I would be bashing with a Patchwork Automaton this turn. I think I just value another point of damage right now. I don't think I cracked this. Just hit my opponent for 5 and maybe attempt to just lethal them next turn. Murktide's fine. That's annoying. I have 5 artifacts. I only need 4 for Thoughtcast to cost 1. So I will go ahead and just crack this. Land incoming. Oh, that's fine. I just like to make this big enough so that I can attack into Murktide successfully. Daze is potentially in my opponent's deck. Let's do this. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to Emry Haste or just Thoughtcast and equip the boots. I think I want to just Thoughtcast and equip the boots to my better Patchwork Automaton. Daze is fine. I will happily pay. Bauble lets me scale up. I can crack this now. My opponent can't Bowmaster off that card draw. Not gonna attack this turn. Like to find any mana source between this draw. I don't love that specific mana source. It's fine. But a land is quite preferable here. All right, another Daze to yard. Fantastic. That I love to see. So I have a lot of different ways to play this. I think this is the way that I'm going to play it, though. So scale this up. Keep this Mox Opal. This guy can now safely attack in, and my opponent is done with us. So they have Daze, Stifle, Thought Scour, Wasteland. This is weird. There may be more graveyard stuff than normal. What's my plan? Don't get knocked off of mana. Win, I think. Patchwork Automaton's ward is annoying for my opponent. I like Pithing Needle for Wasteland a lot. I conceptually like Crucible as a piece of inevitability. I like Hullbreacher. I think Dismember often doesn't work. My Force of Will and Metallic Rebuke type cards are worse against Daze. And I don't super want to 2-for-1 myself. Kind of important for Murktide Regent specifically. I could Fluster. Fluster's probably easier to hold up on average than Metallic Rebuke. Metallic Rebuke hits Murktides though. Yeah. Something like that. Am I good with all this stuff? I think I'm good with all this stuff. This hand's fucking great. Turn 1 Pithing Needle on Wasteland. Kappa Cannoneer as a backup plan. Alright. Attempt Needle. Needle can get dazed and then I can get Wastelanded. That's kind of the nightmare scenario, but I can't really play around the days. I don't have Metalcraft until this is also in play. Alright, so Wasteland is off. I am fine playing out these cards. 3 artifacts. Thoughtcast is not castable as of right now. I'm going to keep Bauble in play rather than cycling it, I think. The artifact count, I think, is just going to be relevant for the Thoughtcast and Kappa Cannoneer. We've got the fetch to shuffle. Opponent is not going for it immediately. Patchwork Automaton. That's not really what I am going for right now. I am going to attempt, keyword attempt, to make this token here. A Stifle can stop this token. The reason that I want to attempt to do this right now, though, is so that I can Thoughtcast before a Bowmasters comes into the picture. And I'm fine trading with Daze. My opponent returns a land back to their hand. That's a better chance that they just get smacked by something. Oh, they are very deep on the graveyard. I wonder if there's like Hooting Mandrills as well. Or maybe Gurmags. Yeah, no, that's fine. Again, I think I keep this in play. So my goal is now to make a second Urza Saga construct on my turn and then attack with both. I imagine that my opponent is about to make some big creature. They surveilled a Murktide, so like I assume they're doing that. But my creature is just going to be bigger than a 6/6. Ooh, that is also insane. I think I'll leave this in play for a turn, though. Alright. So, 5/5. I could just get Aether Spellbomb and bounce it out of play and attack for 5. That's actually pretty good. But, like, do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could also just Kappa. Nah. So let's just bounce that out of play, hit my opponent for 6. And this still, in theory, is lethal next turn. And I can Auto-Aura bounce a blocker out of play. Using the Spellbomb immediately is better if my opponent slams something like a Collector Oof. I don't know, I probably had tighter lines for that turn. I kind of pivoted what I was doing. Make dudes? Make dudes is probably okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7 to play around days. I think I cast this now. I think I'm playing this as a land. So we're going to improvise, leaving Mox Opal up so that I can play around days. We're in play. I assume this is going to be Orcish Bowmaster's Fog. Yeah, that's fine. And barring something that I would not expect to see, like a Damnation, I think we're done here. Yep, that's fine. Potentially an end of turn Surveil land? Nope. Murderous Cut on 1. That's fine. Like I am trying to go wide of removal here. True Name Nemesis. Sure. Nice. Cast Crucible, scale this up. This can now attack into True Name. Assuming this resolves, Kappa Cannoneer becomes unblockable. I will play Urza Saga. Are we done? Yeah, we are absolutely done. Well, the first game absolutely sold me on Boots, and I think it was a great tool to have in the deck for the rest of the league. Part of me wonders if I should just go harder on having Lavaspur Boots in my deck. Like, we had that Sir Ginger pop-off where we just, like, cycled these baubles and scaled this thing up. Just the fact that you have a haste enabler in the deck makes some of the creatures that you normally would view as suboptimal into more interesting cards. I am not sure that 8-cast is going to be like the most aggressive, best Lavaspur Boots home. I think this was a good deck to test it with. Lavaspur Boots gave me some very interesting Emry lines and really did push Urza Saga damage. My Urza Saga got disrupted by Wastelands, and I think we ran into some issues with other spot removal, like Cure Poison and Molten Collapse, that kind of threw me off my game. But I very much like Lavaspur Boots as a part of the toolkit. 1 mana to just give haste, and like it feels weird to say that a 1 mana thing is a mana sink, because that's not typically how we use the word mana sink. But just having that mana sink to just buff up a creature or give that extra layer of protection to a creature is really good early with Urza Saga, and then it's just like a fine way to otherwise buff your creatures. Maybe this deck doesn't have enough creatures to really take advantage of Lavaspur Boots as hard as you could, like it is only on 13 creatures. This is one that I want to experiment with more. This card absolutely has my seal of approval. I still think it is exactly as good as I thought it was at the beginning of this video, but I don't think I'm done experimenting with this card. Expect to see it more on the channel, and if you have a deck featuring Lavaspur Boots or anything else from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I would love to be playing them. All that information about how to do donation deck lists is available down in the video description down below, as are all my deck lists. And if you need cards, toamagic.com, promo code ThrabenU. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!